Hello. We are live back at Avio's Journey YouTube channel. I'm laughing because of the ridiculous little thumbnail. You know, like whenever you start, they ask you to do a thumbnail for stars. And I'm always like, I don't know what to do, so I always do something silly. Anyways, welcome to Avio's Journey. This channel is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all of the crazy things I seem to step on. So happy Tuesday. I'm so excited to be doing this live. I've got some really cool things to talk about, some fun things to talk about today. But they are fun, but at the same time serious when it comes to growing your business. You know, I want to talk about diving into the different parts of voiceover and finding the niche, but more importantly, exploring the niche. So basically trying to discover where you fit in this voiceover world, but also where you fit in on different websites. And I really think this is super important because I know for my own, my own experiences on different websites, I seem to have success with different things. You know, for example, on Fiverr, I seem to have success doing video narration spots and a lot of commercials for, small companies doing videos, online videos. And I do other things, of course, but that seems to be the main success I have there. Okay. And when I go to ACX, the main success I have there in audiobooks is for I do a lot of if I'm doing audiobooks there now, a lot of people come to me now, but I do nonfiction. That seemed to be where I fit in. But now, perfect example is on these other sites I'm working on, Voice 123. All right. Finally booked a job on Voice 123. But the funny thing is all of the work I seem to be getting, or the traction and the people reaching out to me on that site, is leaning towards character work. And this is an interesting thing because of those of you who have followed me and everything, hey, Sabah, know that when I first started the journey on Fiverr, and I recommend this to people, when you first start off on Fiverr or voices.com or Voice12, any of these platforms, right, you are not going to be the person at the head of the table. There's going to be voice actors on there. There's going to be people who have been producing on those platforms for a while. They have the reviews, they have the clout, all right? They've built up the reputation. So there's no way that you're going to go head to head with those people when you first start on any platform for like the main bulk of maybe like commercial work or something like that, right? So when I was, starting on Fiverr, I looked at that landscape and I realized, there's no way. So I went around a corner. Like I went through a crack, and the crack I found at that time was character work, but it was during the Halloween season, which is upon us now. And it was character work for evil characters. Right. So through that, I built up a reputation. I got a lot more clout on that platform and built up to where now I'm at, close to the front of the table, and I get a lot of that business that comes in regularly, which is a lot of video narration. So with that being said, with all this new traction I'm starting to see, on these other platforms like Voice Realm, which I'm getting business on Voice Realm now, and Voice 123, as I got the job for doing character work there. It seems like, again, like for example, on voices.com, if you go and do that top 100, because they don't give you that information on Voice 123, but if you do that top 100 there, you see all these people at the top, and they've been there for a while. Sure, some of them trade out, but the reality is there's no way getting on that platform just starting, you're going to go head to head with those people and get business over them, because they're at a place where we have to get to. And I don't mean talent level. Sure, they're talented, but so are we. I just mean that they have built up enough clout on that website to be found faster, to have more of a body of a work than you and I probably have, okay, in some of those places. So in order to compete or to get in, we have to find the little cracks, the little niches, if you want, all right, to wiggle in. So what this means is that you and I need to continue to find these different places that we can do, all kinds of different types of voiceover. So like I enjoy character work. Hey, Eli, welcome. I enjoy character work. That's something that I've always loved to do. And actually, when I first started years ago, that's what I wanted to do. I was like, I'm going to be a character actor. And like I was emailing Blizzard and all. I had no idea what I was doing. I was emailing like customer service. I don't know what they would have. I don't know what they thought. Maybe they get more than I think, but needless to say, I didn't get any contact back. But I was like, I'm going to be a character actor because that's what I've always loved to do. But that didn't pan out. So of course I went and moved on to audiobook work right after that, because I thought, well, that's a good place for other character work, right? But anyways, and I also love doing emotional spots and like the emotional video narration where you can really move somebody. Enjoy documentary work. But then I got cast and started doing a lot of e-learning and a lot of technical work, like a lot of more so like manuals and things like that and nonfiction things, because I also have that side of me. But then that drove in another stake that I put into the ground and said, hey, I can do this. Hey, I can do this. Now, I'm not talking about spreading yourself too thin, but what I'm talking about is finding your way in. This whole thing is it's like a game, it's like a test. It's a game of testing, right? You test one thing, you test another thing, you test another thing, and you keep pushing and you keep trying one thing. You try to do this, you try these keywords. That's a whole nother thing. I do a lot of coaching on Fiverr, and I love coaching on Fiverr because, a lot of the students I work with are having a lot of success on Fiverr, and I'm super excited about that. But one of the things we're always talking about is testing and going in there, testing new keywords, testing new things, trying out new stuff. Same thing with these other sites, because like voices.com, Voice123, all these sites where people are searching, right? They've got to literally find you in order to book you. You've got to be visible. So in order to be visible, you've got to be putting down the right words too. So it's not just your voice. Like here's an example. What if you did one sample voice, right? One sample voiceover that was 30 seconds. That voiceover could go into probably 10 to 12 different slots. So A, do you put it up once with 2 or 3 or 4 different slots? Or do you put it up 4 times with 3 different ones on each one to up to 12? Well, I think you should put it on 3 or 4 times. No one says you can't do that, because you're going to be popping up in different searches depending on the keywords. Do you understand? And like all these things that I'm telling you, I'm starting to do myself, and I'm starting to experiment. And all of a sudden I'm starting to see results. But the crazy thing is, and I know I've told a story about Fiverr, but that's what I did on Fiverr a little over a year ago. As I sat down, I was like, that's it. I'm going to figure this stupid thing out and I'm going to win on this platform. And I did everything I could on that platform. You know what I mean? And I am where I am now because of that decision moment, if you will. Well, if you decide to do that on another platform, you can do the same thing, which is what I'm trying to do now, is branch out because I'm interested. I'm doing really well on Fiverr, but I don't have to do a lot there, which is really, really nice, because that business comes to me with a little bit of updating, right? But places like Voice123, Voice Realm, all these. I mean, I signed up for a couple other sites recently too. Just keep myself going out there and seeing what's working, what's not working. Voquint, all these different places. You've got to keep up with them. You've got to keep trying new things. Voquint is another wonderful site. I love that site. I've done things on here. Interviewed Miles, the CEO of that site. But that's a place too where you need to experiment. You need to go on there and you need to try different keywords. You need to try different things. All right. So to bring this whole thing into perspective here, what I'm trying to say, full circle, you need to go out to all of these different sites and you need to put in as many different poles as you can into the water. You need to put in the e-learning stuff. You need to put in audiobook stuff. You need to put in character work. You need to put in commercial work. You need to try video work, video narration, TV. You need to try documentary. You need to try, whatever, all the different genres you can get yourself into. You need to put yourself out there. Then you need to test the keywords. Okay? This is our life in the digital age. And I am a firm believer, especially all the work that I've done on platforms as well as off platforms like emailing, phone calling, and things like that. Those work and those need to be a part of your plan. But this is where the attention is. People want to go to a site, look at you, hit the purchase button. That's what people want to do. That's the world we live in. But in order for them to purchase from you, you have to be seen. You have to be visible. And the way to get visible right now, especially when you're just starting out, or even if you've been doing it for a while, but you're not having traction, is to find your way through the cracks. And to do that, you've got to try different parts of voiceover and to put them up there with different keywords. And you've got to try and try and try. I mean, a voice one, these places you can add like a lot of samples. The more samples you have, the more visible you are going to become. I'm not saying you go on there, but imagine if you could put up 5 samples or 300 samples. Would you put up 300 samples? I guarantee you most people would not, because 300 is a lot of samples and they don't want to put in that work. But imagine if you did put up 300 samples and then because of that, people were finding you left and right, or you were way more visible. It probably would be worth it spending that time. So anyways, that's just my thoughts, and that's what's going on with me. I'm starting to see traction by doing those things again that I started to do with Fiverr over a year and a half ago. And what's dawning upon me now is that I think those things, those core elements that I used to be successful over on this side, this platform over here, probably has the same way to be successful on these other platforms. Okay? It starts to become less like rocket science and more just testing. Okay, so that's my spiel for today. Let's see. I'm going to go over here to the comments. It's good. Thank you again, Sabah. Thank you for being here. Eli, Greg, testing 1, 2. Yes, you're here, Greg. All right. Eli says, can you talk a bit regarding VO in other languages? Sure. So I'm assuming you mean if you speak multiple languages. Is that what you're talking about? Or you're from a different country, or you're not from the U.S., maybe you're outside the U.S.? Maybe you'll give me a little bit more context about what you mean. Because I can tell you that if there are going to be sites all around the world that deal with different things. Do you know what I mean? Absolutely, Jeremy. Absolutely. But going back to yours, Eli, like for example, Voquin is a perfect example. I would recommend, Eli, you get on Voquin as soon as possible, because Voquin is a UK-based company, but their whole deal is a worldwide market. So they find a lot of success working in different countries with different languages so that they can really, that's kind of their thing. And even though the US market right now is a huge market for them, they've not grown tremendously in this market yet, because they're still, UK is their biggest market, but you can tell that they have a wide range of actors from across the world. But okay, cool. Awesome. So I think that's what you're saying. There are other sites. Perfect example. So I don't know what country you live in. Are you in the US and you just want to know, hence a smaller market challenging? I got you. So is it that you don't speak English, or is it just the accent, or? Yeah, so I definitely understand what you're talking about when it comes to what market you're in, Eli. Like, for example, when I join sites, because I've joined a lot of sites recently that are not in the US, I don't have a lot of work that comes to me, or a lot of the work. Like, for example, at another site, People Per Hour, I put down that I don't speak another language, but I constantly get, requests to speak in, different languages, Russian and German. I don't speak any of those languages. I don't know why they keep sending those to me. But, there's certain sites. And like, for example, I joined, I don't know how you pronounce it, but it's Voiver, like Voiver. And that's another UK based company. Okay, you're based in Germany. Okay. So, I know from a Fiverr standpoint, that company's based out of Israel, but I do believe their largest market. You know what? Honestly, I do 60% of my work outside of the country, but it seems like that a big percentage of that market for voiceover is people around the world looking for American accents. So I will agree that Fiverr does have a lot of American accents, and that's what it seems like most of the voiceover work on there is for. No doubt about that. Even though the majority of that voiceover work is not coming from the U.S. I mean, a lot of it does, but a lot of it comes from the rest of the world. I got you. Well, you know what? I can tell you this. I do. Actually, you know what? And I spoke to you soon, even though it's an English or, an American accent. I do a lot of different work for companies or businesses, places that, have, I do a lot of different, work and from that speak different languages that I have to learn. Do you know what I mean? So I don't think necessarily, maybe Eli, you should look at it as a problem. I think you should turn it around, and I think you should look at it as a benefit. And I think if everything that you do, because there's so many people out there, and I'm telling you, I do a lot of video promotions for whether they're businesses or religious organizations or nonprofit organizations or whatever, who are promoting different types of holidays or locations, travel companies around the world that I don't speak their language, and I do a lot of. I mean, I do a lot of things that I have to work really hard to learn, and I even don't get business because I don't have the right accent. So I think they're out there, Eli. You just have to make sure that you're promoting yourself in a way where you're like, listen, don't go with them. They can't even speak the language right. Come with me and you'll get the English aspect well enough. And then you'll also get the accent. And if you do want to break into the English market, I mean, more of an English speaking market as well with your accent, that is something that you need to work on. Just like I have to keep training on the things I need to keep training on. You might need to be training on, you might need to get a dialect coach. All right. And work on some of those things as well so that you can bring both worlds. I am a firm believer that the more you can do, the more opportunities there are. Yes, there's the micro niche. I believe in that. But here's my theory. Why have one micro niche when you can have 10? 10 micro niches is better than one. Okay. So, and that's my theory behind getting into these websites. Getting beyond the gatekeepers is you have to find that niche and dive in. All right. Good, Eli. That is a challenge, no doubt. I know you can do it, man. You can do it. All right. Any other questions? Any other thoughts today? It's a good day. It's cold out here. I live in Virginia on the East Coast, and it's getting colder, which I love. I love the cold weather. All right. Anybody else? I'll take a few more minutes. A few more seconds, actually. Thanks, man. Didn't mean to take over. No, dude, it's fine. That's exactly what this is for. You didn't take over anything. You didn't take over anything at all. But I really do like your questions because I really think it shows that a lot of us worry so much about what we think is a handicap that we have. But I want, turn it into your biggest asset. Because what you consider a handicap, I look at you and say, man, if I could speak in your accent, if I could have the pronunciation of the words that you know how to pronounce, just inherently because that's your language. I would love to have that ability because that would make me even more marketable to more of the world. So again, use that. I wish I paid attention in Spanish class. I took 4 years of Spanish class, and I think I know how to say where's the bathroom, which is important, but not going to help me in voiceover. All right. Let's see. And is it Ayato? Ayato? I'm sorry if I messed that up. I am in Maryland. Same. It's beautiful here when fall comes. Absolutely. Love the leaves churning. All right. Well, hey, you guys, thank you so much for watching. Like this video. I really, if you came in late, you need to go back because this is kind of, and not so many words. I mean, I laid out in this video, I know my key to success. I know you can't see everything, but you see the stuff behind me, but all the gear, all the booth I have, all the microphones, all the expensive stuff, that's all great. But in the end, none of it is worth anything if no one sees you. Visibility is everything. Attention is everything. You got to go where it is and you got to do your very best. You got to experiment. You got to test to find it. I mean, find it, search with every fiber of your being to get yourself in front of people. Because I promise you, when you do, someone will want to work with you. But the problem for most of us is that we can't get in front of enough people because there's a huge line ahead of us. So the best way to do that is to find that little narrow other path that not a lot of people are in. Find your way in, and then it helps you cut the line. It's awful, but true. All right. You welcome, my man. Close enough. Okay, good. All right, you guys, you have a wonderful day. I will talk to you later. Oh, please like, please share, and, follow. So I always keep saying follow, subscribe. I really appreciate it. Also, if you haven't had a chance, check out my podcast. It's called the VO's Journey Podcast. You can find it on iTunes, Spotify, wherever there's podcasts, you can find it. I think Google, whatever. I'm all over. Check it out. There's a lot of good information on there. I think I just did 112. That's my 112th episode. So it's going real well. A lot of great interviews, things on there to help you out. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. Talk to you later. Peace.